Hi again. I'm just not sure how long I can video for and everything, so I thought I'd just stop it. I'm recording again. I might have a low battery, so we'll see how this goes. I'll try and make it a lot quicker because I've been rambling on for ages and I'm hungry now, so I need a cup of tea. Right. So I worked for a guy called John Mackey, who turned out to he successfully built up it was the biggest free range organic supermarket in the world, and then he later, after I left, he sold it to Amazon. Yeah, so I got it to the bit where I was saying he did some fantastic things, and he had some fantastic incentives, and they were brilliant, and I endorsed them. But one of the things I did, I became the company green mission rep, which meant meant my department monitored the recycling, and one day a month we actually scrupulously wrote down everything that we chucked out, whether it was landfill recycled. They paid to have the recycling as a company. They paid to have it whatever possible recycled, and they really made an effort on it. They were really, really good at that side of things. I mean, they used wooden forks and knives and spoons and compostable things. They gave the coffee granules away for home composting. They did everything from a green perspective. The company were phenomenal. And they were the same. They were great on all the other aspects. And if you're a vegetarian, you were really looked after. If you're a vegan, you're extremely well looked after. But if you were a carnivore, well, not really. Let's just say that. But their pay structure, they paid me fantastically. So, and I was there from October the 20th, officially started on October the 23rd. Store opened at the beginning of November, first week of November, probably bonfire night, something like that, between 2nd and 5th, something like that, I can't remember exactly. And I left in May 2015. The irony is, by the time I started, when I left, things were changing. They changed dramatically. When they had the redundancies in March, they got rid of the maintenance guy, so maintenance was never a big priority. The fridges, you realise that the fridges they got in, they were Italian, but they weren't the best. And they kept breaking down, so we were fighting a tide of battle of problems in the store, and the store no. It was like, they had a lighting system over the wines and spirits, and it was basically packed up during the first Christmas, and it was never completely fixed. And it was a shame because it had so much promise and potential, and you couldn't understand why they weren't doing the small things. But it's because when they opened, they put all this money into it from all over the world. The staff and I talked about it in the first bit, and then the store had to pay it back, and it had a time period to pay it back in. I don't think we ever did. I think it got written off, but the pressures we were under at the beginning were immense. And within the first year, the store manager had left, but a guy who was assistant store manager became my store manager, and he was great to work for. But he was UK based. He'd worked at previous supermarkets. I believe he worked at Marks and Spencer's as store manager for a while, and he was a great guy. But he'd been there from day one too. It started before day one because obviously it was all new to him, and he started. But there were changes, and the reason I left is because disheartening. It was a 7-day-a-week process. It was early mornings, late nights. If we had a special sauce coming, which we had to cover the meeting, there were 3 of us top ones. There were 4 or 5 of us in at 4:30 in the morning because we had to do a counter, do a display for sauce, which they could walk past, and that was it. And you were like, well, I've just spent, and I'm shattered. I was here. I didn't get home till nearly 10 o'clock last night. I was here till 9:30. And it was just, and it was 7 days a week, and they had it so that we opened later on a Sunday, so we closed later on a Sunday, so that the supermarket, the Sainsbury's, just in the same car park, basically. Car park split into 2. If you couldn't get yourself, you had an hour to come in. So we were always busy on and we were busy on a Sunday, and then there was always that one person who'd come in, and they had these policies like you weren't allowed to shut your department down until the last customer had left the store sort of thing. It was craziness, but they threw money away as much as they made money, and it was sad, but it was just getting too much. But I also wanted to try and do it for myself, and I opened up my own bookshop, and I failed big time. I lost a lot of money. I invested a lot of money, and I was doing on a trade basis. I'm not going to lie, I was doing all right, but I wasn't doing all right where I was. I was doing all right because I was working more hours. I was doing even more crazy stuff. I had a nice refrigerated van, and I'd supply gyms. And I'd do quality meats. And I had a market store which was ticking over, just paying the rent. Wasn't paying me a wage, paying the rent. But I was using it as a hub, so I would leave there and then go and deliver to the people who'd ordered big stuff for me to deliver to their homes, or gyms. They'd order that, and I made my money that way. But then, long story short, my rent tripled. Even though I had a contract for 3 years, that my rent tripled overnight, and I just walked away from it. And I lost a fortune of money because I walked away from it. I lost thousands, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it was the right move for me to move away. I went off. I still carried on butchery, but not for myself. My ego taking a massive hit. I'm deflated, and I'm walking away from it. And I worked for another place, which I on the animal welfare, Gloucester Services, but never fitting. I ended up being the industrial caterer who do thousands of burgers, or make sausages fat by the thousand, and it was just mad. And the pay was awful. Let's be frank and honest. The pay was, but I needed the job. I just had my ass whipped. I learnt from my lessons, from my mistakes, and it was an humbling experience. And I left there because I got offered another job in the butchery. I kept with the butchery, yeah, but it's the wake-up call I needed this one. I went to a place in Cirencester, and it was awful. Within the first hour, I knew I'd made a mistake. But, you know, I stuck it for a month. An obnoxious, arrogant, young, egotistical plonker. I think I can say that on here and that. And I left on the Tuesday of the Cheltenham races, and I did my shift. And his other half, who was always there, she was in charge because he was at the races, and turned round and I said afterwards, I said, this isn't for me. I don't think we're a match. I'm going to walk away. And then I go home, and then nothing happened on the Tuesday. That was the Tuesday. I don't think anything happened on the Wednesday, the Thursday. On the Friday, I get a message off him. It's still on my phone. So, it's a barrage of abuse. I treated her wrong. And I just said, honestly, I don't think we're a match. And I genuinely did say that. Not going to make it up. I don't think we're a match. And I walked away, and I had nothing to go to. Nothing. I walked away because it was that bad. I mean, I drove there in the snow, all sorts of things. It was only a month, but it was a month of not doing that anymore. And that's the last time that I actually did butchery, and I got away from it. And I just worked. I had to get a job where I started early in the morning. I was like a glorified postman, if you can get glorified. And it was a terrible job. But I had to get a terrible job to make sure that I was going to do what was right for me. And that's when I decided I was going to become a dog walker. But I wasn't going to just do, I'm a dog walker. I could have, should have, maybe. But I went and did first aid and got me insurances and did everything by the book properly before I even started. And even though at the moment I've got no dogs to walk because we're in the middle of this thing I keep bringing up and mentioning, I still don't regret leaving. And that's the story, basically a long-winded story of how I worked for a vegan, and I never got it, didn't work. But I now myself, I'm a vegan. I've told you my 2 sins of milk on both cases between now and January, and one wasn't my mistake, one was a genuine mistake on my part about the coffee I ordered, and I just asked for I think it was a latte, wouldn't it? And I ordered a latte, and I forgot to set. I just got it wrong. I should have, flat white and then put soya milk in. And my daughter ordered me a drink, and it was a mistake. But apart from that, that's the only 2 exceptions. So, am I allowed to class myself as a vegan yet? I don't know. I'm definitely a vegetarian, if not, though. So I will say that. So yeah. But then the guy that I walked away from last autumn is shot down. But what I will say this, is the guy that I was working next to for that month, he came to me and said, do you know you're the 23rd person that's working for him? I go, don't be stupid, that can't be right. Yeah, because I'm not going to stick here for long. I'm moving to America, but I'm only staying here because he pays me well and I need the job. So there is a lesson there. treat people how you want to be treated. Have respect for people. You know, I mean, he's probably pulling his hair out at the moment because he's got a pub. He's a landlord as well. But he was just a lying, dishonest person, and not a nice person. You know, that's why I've not mentioned his name. I've not mentioned the pub he's still got now. It just, I don't care. That's in the past. You meet nice people. You meet horrible people too. You meet, you know, there are good and bad everywhere, aren't there? And let's just leave it. Work-wise, when it picks up, I hope to God it picks back up and I can carry on doing my job. I'm enjoying and love what I do now. I have my bad days, but they're my bad days. And it's never about the dog, it's always about the customer. I want to start talking about environmental things now and not cocoa. Yes, I'll talk about maybe, I don't know what I'm having for tea tonight. I'm just really hungry now. It's 6:50 in the evening and I don't know what I'm going to do for my tea. And I had a late start to the day because of where we are. And now I've got to go off and figure out what I'm going to have for my tea. So, you know, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have great food. And I'll just say thank you for watching. Again, stay safe and please take care of yourself. Goodbye.